I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
Welcome to the Total Apex Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Andrew. I'm here with Brandon Ellis and Shane Foley. They write for the Total Apex Sports. And, when we officially merge into Bets and Fantasy, that'll be a great time. And, but first, we got the Super Bowl next week. Tons of NFL news and just sports news in general to catch up on before the big event. And, stay tuned for next week. We're going to also have a show on the Super Bowl. Any updates on Super Bowl weekend, with the media presence and things like that. And obviously other sports, big things are happening in the NBA with the trade deadline and, the Olympics coming up, et cetera. So, but yeah, first let's dive into the NFL news that happened this week. There's actually a lot of NFL news for a non-football weekend, technically. I know we have the Senior Bowl and the Pro Bowl going on, but so we got more coaching updates finally with the Browns. Last night they hired Todd Monken. He was the former Ravens offensive coordinator. A lot of rumors were speculating he was probably going to go follow John Harbaugh to New York, but now he gets the Browns job, and he used to be the offensive coordinator there, and apparently it was between him and Jim Schwartz, and he was also competing with some of the Rams coordinators for that job as well. But now, with Monken getting the job over Schwartz, they were initially thinking he would stay, but apparently, he was not happy about the situation, and he wants out. So, Brandon, what do you think about the Browns getting Tom Monken?
First off, hi everybody. Welcome to the second episode of the reboot of Total Apex Sports Podcast. The Todd Monken stuff. I think Cleveland wanted the more offensive mind, a head coach. It seemed prevalent because they had Nate Scheelhaase as a candidate as well for another interview as well. Over Jim Schwartz, I feel bad for Jim Schwartz in this situation because I think he would have been a good CEO type head coach for Cleveland in that spot. He's done it before with the Lions. It didn't go well, but he's been in the league for a long time, and this is kind of a risky maneuver for hiring Monken because I don't know if Cleveland's got the right quarterback in the system. Monken did want to draft Shedeur. Obviously, in Baltimore last year, they were trying to draft him. They couldn't get it done, but now has the opportunity to work with him in Cleveland. It should be interesting how Monken's scheme will translate to Shedeur's game because it worked with Lamar because Lamar can actually read the field and make reads as a passer. And right now, Shedeur hasn't really shown that he can sit in the pocket and make reads. He likes to improvise way too much. So it'd be interesting to see what happens with that.
Yeah. Shane, in this situation when, because there were rumors with, Mike McDaniel, that's another coordinator who officially joined the Chargers. But there were rumors, he was in the mix for the Buffalo job. It wasn't official for, I think, multiple days. With that happening, how do you see the Giants potentially, pivoting? And, I mean, do you think this is going to end up benefiting them or it's going to hurt the Giants?
I think this is hurting the Giants for sure. Just because I know based off of the way the Ravens went down, part of the reason why I think they moved on from Harbaugh was because he wanted to keep his guys, and Munkin definitely would be one of them. So now, if he goes coach Cleveland, I think the Giants have to go OC shopping because Harbaugh, great coach, not a quarterback whisperer. And you have Jackson Dart, and that's probably the best thing you have going on in New York. So, I would feel like if you're looking at the list of OCs that are available, I forget his. We're just talking. Mike McDaniels would have been at the top of that list. So now he goes to the Chargers. And I don't think that Harbaugh is going to. He'll change the culture in New York, but I don't think it's going to be instant success unless you bring in an offensive guy that's going to work with Dart. So, now I'm not sure what the list is like for him now that you've lost Munkin and lost out on McDaniels. It'll be interesting.
Right. And then, speaking of, coordinators, like passing game coordinators, it was kind of surprising, but Davis Webb was a hot name, to potentially take a head coaching job. And he still could, for sure, but he withdrew from the Vegas job, which is not a good sign for them. But I think that basically means that if Clint doesn't go to Vegas, then that's a pretty bad sign. Brandon, what are your thoughts on the whole Clint Kubiak sweepstakes and who's going to get the final job in Arizona and so on?
The Clint Kubiak sweepstakes is going to be interesting for sure. I bet you a lot of Raiders fans and Cardinals fans are going to watch Super Bowl 60 and be glued to every Seattle offensive drive in that game, for sure, and salivating at the opportunity at Kubiak. I think Kubiak stays within division and goes to Arizona. Actually, even though the Raiders is the more attractive job of the two, I think Kubiak thrive better with an older quarterback than a rookie. That's just where I'm at with it. Because he's done so much good work with Darnold. And granted, I think Mendoza is going to be the pick and one for Vegas. But at the same time, I think they want a more experienced guy maybe at that spot in Vegas, probably. Than an OC that's, great in Kubiak. But I think Kubiak would, I think his system would thrive with what Arizona's talent is right now instead of what the potential of Vegas's talent would be. That's just
right.
Me.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see, who lands that final job because there were talks with the Rams, Mike LaFleur. I know the Steelers. I don't have it on here, but the Steelers got Patrick Graham at their defensive coordinator. Things are rapidly approaching because you want to get all these staff hiring in line right before free agency. You can evaluate your roster and re-signing period right after the Super Bowl basically, and then you got the combine and it's just we'll get to the other thing that happened with the Vikings, but it's kind of crazy that they're well, we can get that now because the Vikings fired their GM, and they basically made the move today, and they also stated that they're not going to add a GM, I think, before the draft.
Yeah.
That is insane. But we're welcoming in Jordan Ramos from Totally Effect Sports, Best in Fantasy. We're just getting into all the coach talk and coordinator maneuvers. But yeah, like starting off like with the Vikings firing their GM, like what are your thoughts on how that's going to affect their offseason?
Okay. Literally, we got this like around a couple hours ago. But like, if you've seen the Vikings first round picks in the last couple of years, they look ugly. Not 9 being a couple of years ago. That's bad. Turner's been all right, but like hasn't been really panning out. And like, I know one of those first round picks is like Lewis Cine on 2021, 2022, like when Kyle Hamilton was off the radar, so they had to go with the backup. Look at how that went out. That was fun. And yeah, this was like a long time coming. And like, and the Vikings cap situation, $44 million over the cap. Have fun.
Yeah, they're.
But yeah, it's disturbed.
Yeah, they're kind of in a sticky situation. But yeah, getting to the Eagles, they were having a hard time finding their new offensive coordinator, but they bring in Sean Mannion from Green Bay, and then today they just got Josh Griffith from Tampa as their passing coordinator. Brandon, is this a good sign for Philly next year, or are we gonna? I think at least we're gonna see different things for sure. But yeah, I'm sure you have the statistic for that.
So we were by far the first in the league in hitches, with over 600 hitches this year. Green Bay was 31st in hitch routes with like 374. Yes, no more hitch routes, or less hitch routes than what Patullo decided to put on the field last year. More under center play action, which Jalen will love. Hopefully with Willis's performance too, more QB run, which was desperately needed, especially in that playoff game. Let's see, did I forget anything else No, I think I got everything. I love both getting Grizzard and Mannion. I think Mannion is, one of those guys who was a former quarterback in the league, journeyman backup, who's gotten a lot of praise over these last couple of weeks, especially from like Matt LaFleur and people in Green Bay. Like the fans in Green Bay didn't want him to go. People in the organization in Green Bay didn't want him to go. But now he's here, and he's there in Philadelphia now. The only hiccup is play calling experience, but with getting Grizzard in the building too, he can have another voice to bounce off of with sequencing plays and stuff like that, since Grizzard was there in Tampa Bay last year as their OC. After a 5-1 start, the injuries kind of derailed their seasons. That's why he was available on the market. That was their fall guy. Technically, he was their Patullo, Tampa's Patullo, if you want to make that comparison. Because he was the pass game coordinator in 24 when the offense was 5th in passing, and then they dropped down to 20th in passing this past year in Tampa Bay. But Philly, I think Philly's in a great spot with their OCs, even though they're like not what everyone was expecting. Just because Mannion brings something different and Grizzard brings something different from the Sirianni, like so far different from what Sirianni was doing. Now, Sirianni will still have a voice probably in what they're doing, but I don't know how much of a voice. So I'm going to wait and see. I love the initial move, because of what I've seen so far. Now it's just getting the stars aligned with the plan and getting the coaches, actually coaching football this year instead of what they did last year. So that's where I'm at.
Right. Getting to the next topic. I know Bo Nix and Sean Payton had a thing where Sean Payton basically like revealed how many surgeries he had, and Bo Nix went on air to say like, "Oh, like you probably shouldn't say that." Like I don't know how that's not like a HIPAA violation. Like that if it's not like confirmed, or you don't have to say it to the reporters or whatever, like officially, like you probably shouldn't say it. But they'll be fine. Like they'll be back next year probably. But speaking of that, like Josh Allen said he played with a broken bone in his foot in week 16, and he finished through the season in the playoffs. Shane, in terms of like, I know you weren't here for the podcast when they added who was it? They added their new head coach Joe Brady, and he said that Keon Coleman will have a rebound year, and he wants to get him involved. Like, do you buy that? Like, what do you think about the Bills like heading into next year?
I want to buy it. I have a lot of questions though about that organization and how much faith they have in Coleman. Because I don't know if you remember, but like a couple weeks ago, their owner came out because if you remember when they got rid of McDermott, they kept their GM, and they were asking him reasons why. And the owner came out and said, "Well, part of it's because he didn't want to pick Keon Coleman," which I thought was odd because if you're looking at the Bills receiver room, not too many Jerry Rices in there, and Coleman, I think, is a fine player. So if Brady gets to run his offense the way that he wants to, though, I think that Coleman will be a big part of it. I think also that, like, it seems to me like Khalil Shakir is getting more of a better reputation as more of like a possession utility, like short yardage wide receiver. Not that he can't catch a long ball, but it's just they don't use him like that. I would like to see Keon Coleman kind of take that role, because I also don't think that the Bills are going to go get anyone to fill that role in the offseason. So, basically, I hope for the Bills' sake, I hope that Brady uses Coleman more, basically.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. I think the Bills are going to draft receiver in the first round this year. They got to.
There you go.
They got to. This receiver class is probably one of the deepest receiver classes until next year's class.
Not got to, Brandon. They have to. Like, Keon Coleman, he's probably going to get traded for a 6th round pick. That's why I was laughing when
I think they're going to keep Coleman.
That comment.
They're keeping Coleman at least, but they're drafting.
Scratch.
I gotta go with it.
Yeah.
They go along with Coleman. I think they're going to draft a guy like Brazier from Tennessee or Zachariah Branch. There's a couple names out there that late in the first round that would be perfect for Josh Allen offense.
Yeah, like I'm sure, like obviously having him a healthy scratch,
it's just praying to God that like can't fall apart again.
Yeah, like I don't know what happened during the past year, but if that happens again, then there's gonna definitely be questions, in Buffalo. But yeah, like
traded for a 6th round pick.
Yeah, like that could happen. Like definitely, like before week 8, like next year, if he doesn't get the playing time. But I just don't like. So I never questioned Josh Allen's toughness for playing through like injuries and things like that. But like, how are you not allowed to like disclose that? Because it's one thing where it's like, okay, like you have to play, but if you like break something or whatever, like I know he played. He looked like, to me, he looked fine enough. Like it didn't really bother
his only bad game, Andrew, to be honest, was the week 17 Eagles game. I think that was his only bad game that I noticed.
Yeah.
Was that Eagles game.
Even then, Toro's a drugs. Toro's a heck of a drug. So they were pumping him with that stuff. So yeah.
Right. But yeah, like they should have maybe like I know they were playing for the playoffs still, but I don't know, like they should maybe like there should be a thing where, because like John Harbaugh last year, he got a lot of flack with the Lamar situation. Like I'll give him flack for that. Like that's not really like when they're hurt and they have like an actual designation. Like I don't know, I'm not really into like the whole making it vague and whatnot and hiding it like in that way, especially like when the game's on the line, things like that. When it's the off season, it's like whatever. But but speaking of the Ravens, they had their press conference for the new head coach Jesse Minter. and he brought the offensive line coach from Atlanta, the Notre Dame defensive back coach, and then today they just brought in the not offensive coordinator, but the passing game coordinator or basically.
Well, he was technically their
assistant.
offensive coordinator in Chicago. He just didn't call plays.
Right, under Ben Johnson. But, yeah, he's going to be the new OC. And, with Minter calling the defense, they have a head coach who actually calls the side of the ball now. That's going to be really good because I was always wondering, Lamar in a Kyle Shanahan or Sean McVay type offense, how that would work. And, yeah, I mean, he's literally the same age as Lamar. So, hopefully, he's ready for it, but they're going all young, brand new regime. They're getting their guys, so and so far it's been pretty positive. I haven't really had anything negative to say. It's more of they got to improve the talent and the players, and with the salary cap jumping to $300 million, that's going to definitely help for a team like the Ravens who have to re-sign Lamar and some of their other players before they potentially hit free agency. But, yeah, the other two things I wanted to cover was Flacco got his first Pro Bowl because and Jalen Hurts got to the Pro Bowl today, too, because of the alternate thing. So that was kind of interesting. And then, yeah.
Jalen was fifth alternate. I don't know where Flacco was at in the air.
He must have been way down there because
they had to have been. They already went to Shedeur first and then Flacco. So. But Jalen was the fifth alternate, so it wasn't too far down for the NFC side. I guess what Stafford was pulled out, or was it? I don't think it would have been Dak. It might have. Did they already replace Darnold for the NFC? I can't remember.
I didn't hear much about that. I mean, they have to be probably.
It's either Darnold or Stafford, one of the two for Jalen to get in there. I don't think it's Dak.
Yeah, and then kind of hinging on the last thing we said about the Hall of Fame on Tuesday, Eli Manning got denied Hall of Fame for the first ballot. I mean, that kind of makes sense, and then Bill Polian came out and said he did vote for Bill Belichick, but I don't know. There's too many rumors to say that he didn't have a say in that.
It's normally when there's smoke, there's fire, and I think there's fire somewhere up in Indianapolis where Bill Polian is right now. So.
Right.
He said he doesn't remember voting.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of senile. I'm not gonna lie.
I did. Let me get this in there before we move on, Andrew. I did see Craig Carton's show that he does now on streaming or whatever on TikTok. I did see a TikTok. There was a guy that got Ken Anderson and a couple other players that hadn't gotten in the hall yet, and there was a voter that voted them in over Belichick because he prioritized players getting in over craft.
Yeah.
So if it's that reason they didn't vote for Belichick, I'm fine with it because it's the Hall of Fame. You think of players first, and then the coaches, and then front office in that order. But if it's for the scandals and stuff, that's where I draw the line on that. But go on.
Yeah, that they're not going to say why about that probably. But yeah, speaking of players, Deion Dawkins last year he tried to try to get an award out there for all the offensive linemen. You have your best by position awards, MVP, things like that. And this year they finally have the Protector of the Year award. And, it's voted by former All-Pro and Super Bowl champion and former Hall of Fame, offensive linemen, Whitworth, Orlando Pace, Sean O'Hara, Jason Kelsey and others. And, yeah, so for this award, it's being represented by the Broncos left tackle Garrett Bowles, the center for Miami Aaron Brewer, the center for the Chiefs Creed Humphrey, the guard for the Broncos, Quinn Miners, and the guard from the Bears, Joe Tooney, and the Lions all-pro tackle, Penei Sewell. I really like this idea because it's kind of like in Madden, like there was never a way to upgrade offensive line that much. And, now they're getting recognized for that play. But yeah, I do want to see, like, I don't know, because with the award system and everything, like, I know QB gets like MVP usually, and then offensive players like usually a skill position player. But it's getting to a point where like the runner up for MVP, like, I don't know, they might have to make another award. That might be a hot take.
I think it's not that hot of a take because it's like NBA doing, or no, with MLB doing like MVP and then the Silver Slugger awards. They kind of need to do
maybe the Hank Aaron Award and stuff.
Oh, that too. Yeah,
basically that.
Yeah, they need to do something like that. Or the NBA doing MVP and then Clutch Player of the Year and all that stuff too. It's just they kind of need to separate it. So
no. Offensive Player of the Year. Let's go.
Yeah.
Like there should be like maybe like a skill position award. But yeah, speaking of skill positions, we got the Senior Bowl this weekend with the draft. Just it's gonna be rolling up soon. And pro scout, Daniel Jeremiah for NFL Network, he came out with, his first, top 50 and mock draft. And Brandon, like you said, Mendoza is obviously the consensus number one right now. But in terms of like this draft class, Brandon, where do you see like the strength and of each, like not each position, but just overall? And most mock drafts I've seen just don't have another quarterback. So how are teams like the Jets and maybe the Cardinals make a move? How are they gonna handle this?
So I think the draft, to answer the first question, the strength in this year's draft is corner and receiver. That's this year's draft, is corner and receiver. Especially in Mansour Delane from LSU, Gerard McCoy from Tennessee, guys like that, D'Angelo Ponce, who might be later in the first round, early second round, who had an amazing CFP for Indiana. Former JMU guy. That's why I like to shout him out. There's a couple others that are in that. Oh, Avion Terrell from Clemson. AJ Terrell's little brother is in this draft. So the corner class is really phenomenal. Quarterback is like after Dante Moore went back to school, it's kind of lackluster, to be honest. After Mendoza, you got Ty Simpson from Alabama in it. You got Pavia, as we mentioned on Tuesday, in it, who could be a late round guy. Trinidad Chambliss could be in this draft as well. I don't think he might not be in it, but
that's crazy that we don't know yet.
yeah, for sure. I mean, but Trinidad Chambliss could be in this draft, and there's a couple other guys that could be like day 2 guys. Maybe Simpson late first round if someone really needed a quarterback, like Arizona, like you said, or the Jets. But I think the Jets could wait till next year to get quarterback. Again, I hate saying that, Jets fans, but you might have to, because the next year is the better quarterback draft with Arch coming out and Sellers coming out and guys and more probably coming out again and guys like that. So you might have to just wait, eat it another year, and then see if you can get your guy next year. Like I said, receivers earlier, I mentioned Zachariah Branch, Micaiah Lemon, who won the Biletnikoff this year for USC, Brazil from Tennessee, just to name a few. They're all Boston from Washington, who's an intriguing guy as well. There's a lot of standouts in this draft at those skill positions with receiver and corner. It's kind of a weak running back draft, especially as we're going to get into with the Singleton news about him breaking his foot.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, this draft is interesting to say the least.
Yeah. Jordan, your Giants are picking at 5. DJ got him going with the LSU corner, Delane, Mr. Delane. How would you feel if they took like a secondary player in the top 5?
Annoyed. We need some offensive line help, but like if Delane is like a generational corner, like Darrelle Reeves, like you gotta take it.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta take like best player available at that point because
Yeah.
I can
you're
I can
literally
give
at
you
like
the,
three or four. Like you gotta take best available player, and
I can give you the Delane tape because he played at Virginia Tech as well before he transferred to LSU. The dude is quick off the ball, quick anticipation, good jump off good break, good coverage, good height at the corner spot. Probably the best prototype in this draft. He's probably why he's the first corner off the board in a lot of mock drafts right now because he's so good. And if the Giants get him, it'd be, you're gonna have to plan around that, like the Eagles, Quinyon, and all that stuff. So Dallas and New York are probably going to be fighting for either Delane or McCoy. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I feel like
he's better than Dante Banks. Like it's all good.
He's probably he's way better than Banks.
I feel like defensive players like in this draft process, they usually rise up like right before like the combine, and because like in college football, like I know like a lot of the offensive players, like just from like just hearing the highlights and stuff, but defense is a little different. Like, you got to grind through the tape and things. With Nick Singleton, the Penn State running back, breaking foot, basically that just like before that, I don't know if he was going to be a first rounder anyway, but now this basically cements like Jeremiah Love, like he might be a top 10 pick, like and then there's
Love,
I
have Love as the only running back in the first round.
Just in general
in my head, like that's the only running back I have first round. Allen, if Allen had a better season, he probably could have gone first round. The Singleton's running mate at Penn State, and like if Singleton had a better season too, and now the injury, that's definitely prevented him from going first round. But if Singleton had a better season at Penn State this year, I think he would have gone first round as well. So
yeah. To wrap up like all the draft and Senior Bowl coverage, if like with Mendoza probably at this point I would say like 90% chance going to the Raiders. Shane, how do you think that changes like the outlook of what they still have to do to come back from last year's kind of dumpster fire of a season to Carroll?
Yeah, I think one thing they can do is get the thing from Men in Black where it gets rid of your memories. You should do that for last season. No, but actually, the weird thing is though, they're not far. They're a quarterback away, like they need Mendoza, but if they bring him in, they're not that far from being a talented team because you have Brock Bowers. Ashton Jeanty had a real disappointing season, but I don't think anybody thinks that like that's going to be his entire future. And
Chip Kelly was the offensive coordinator, so
yeah, exactly. Like he got Chip Kelly, so it's not on him. But like if you fix that offensive line, and then I'm not sure what they want to do at receiver. I'm guessing the fact that they traded away Jacoby Myers means they like Trey Tucker long term, and like it's hard to remember, but like early in the season, Trey Tucker had like a couple like 100-yard games, and it was like wild. So like they're like I said, like they're a quarterback away, but like if you add Mendoza and you get rid of the Chip Kelly influence, they're not a bad team at all.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, I believe that. But yeah, we're gonna head into the Super Bowl preview with the Patriots and Seahawks. I'm repping the Seahawks because of the player that I got into like scouting and at the NFL draft and watching a film with Doug Baldwin. So I kind of had to rep in Jersey, and Seattle's been a fun team this year. Like especially their defense. Like some statistics actually point that it is on par with the Legion of Boom, to say the least. But they have to actually do it in the Super Bowl, which is why like a lot of their infamy came from the first Super Bowl. But yeah, like with the Patriots going to Santa Clara against the Seahawks, Shane, I got to follow up. What are your like vibes going into this game? There's a lot of talk with like the schedule, and we cover that a lot. But yeah, how do you think they're going to fare against the Seahawks?
Well, I think you could argue this is every football game ever, but I feel like it's all going to come down to third down. Just because we defend the run, the Patriots defend the run well, and the Seahawks defend the run really well. So I don't think we're going to have neither quarterback is going to be able to rely on their running back too much. So it's going to come down to third down, and May has a lot to prove in this game. Obviously, he has a lot to prove because if he gets the W, then that'll quiet all the people who are talking about the schedule and whatnot. But also, like, if you look at his passing statistics throughout the playoffs, they're really nothing like that special. And, like, just look at the points. They beat LA 15-6, and they beat Denver 10-7. And you could say, well, the Texans game was high scoring, and that's true, but, like, CJ Stroud kept giving the ball to the Patriots on the 40-yard line, So this is probably like the actual like just Drake mate test. I feel like he's not going to be he doesn't have an easy defense to go up against, and he's not going to be getting as much help from Ramondre or Travion, I think. So
interesting.
Yeah, he's going to be third down. Is he going to be converting, and is he going to be converting multiple times? Because the Patriots they're also not like a strike quickly team, although he can throw the deep ball to Kayshon Boutte or Stephon Diggs. Doesn't happen too often. But if they're going to find the end zone, it's going to be like long drives, third down conversions. So
yeah, we got to shout out our guest from last week, Chris Brain. He's standing by everything he said about his Patriots last week, with them getting into the Super Bowl and winning against Denver and whatnot. I think there's like a method to the madness of like winning like these slower paced games. It will be interesting if like the Patriots get in a rhythm early. Like obviously it depends on who gets the ball first, but if they can like chew up a lot of clock, and Seattle's known for quick scoring, like getting to shootouts, things like that. Maybe it throws them off their rhythm. The Patriots against Seattle, and I could say the same with like the Patriots too. If Seattle puts up like a few scores early, like how will they respond and whatnot? But yeah, Jordan, real quick, you want to detail the lifelong mistake of Jets, Panthers, Vikings fans about them doubting Sam Darnold and how he got here?
This is fun for Jets fans. This is fun for Jets fans because like there was a team that Sam was seeing ghosts against, so this is gonna be a fun game to see. But also like you look at their third down conversion for the Patriots, 6-18 against the Broncos. Yeah, that ain't gonna work well. That ain't gonna work well against the Seattle defense. They're going to kill. They're gonna probably kill him. Like it's gonna be that Super Bowl in Jersey against the Broncos. We Ducks 48 to 8. Let's go. Like, but yeah, Darnold has been playing well. He's been playing effectively. Like throughout these playoffs, you see like. You see the game against the Rams where like he was shaky at you feel like he was shaky, but like he was playing well. And, like I gotta get my props to him.
Yeah.
Like you see, like I'm trying to see the stats for the game for Darnold, because he was 24 for 36, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. He only got sacked 3 times. Like that was fun. That was fun to see.
Yeah, and then we're showing highlights from the
if you're
game.
a Seahawks fan, and their offense was just destructive.
Yeah, I mean they do have
and that's what the Patriots need to do: pressure. It's their pressure, but also like you have the Patriots secondary, Christian Gonzalez. He's going to be crucial against JSN. Like you have to have him against him, because if not, then like they're screwed. Like, you think Carlton Davis is gonna cover JSN? No, he's gonna burn that man harder than Cooper Kupp did with Eli Apple.
Right. I think that was it Marvin Mims? He got behind him because they weren't expecting the deep ball from Stidham. But yeah, like totality wise, like their secondary is, they got Marcus Jones, they have Carlton Davis, like they got other, good secondary players that are pretty disciplined. Because like Stidham really didn't do anything after like the first 2 drives, and obviously they could have kicked the field goal early to make it, a closer game, potentially overtime. But Sean Payton didn't. So, but I will say, like the Patriots defense is like a pretty, they're top 5 defense like overall this year.
Mm-hmm.
And like Jordan said, like if they can get pressure on Darnold, like he does lead the NFL in turnovers. It's just he hasn't done it like normally, like how we've seen it. Where in big moments, like how he was with Minnesota and whatnot. But yeah, going with the ground game. We asked Chris this last week, but this year, like, what are your thoughts on like the ground game with Ramondre and Travion, and like how they've handled their split? I know Henderson's carries have like kind of declined like a severe amount, but like is that what you kind of expected with the rookie?
Yeah, I think that's actually. I wasn't too surprised at the usage. I think I joined a lot of people in saying I wanted to see more Henderson. I think there were a lot of people who wanted to see more, but if you look at the games that Ramondre did really well in, there were games where we really didn't need Henderson. So, like, for instance, like if you look at their last game against Miami, where we faced their backup quarterback and the game was over in the first quarter, Ramondre had like a great game. It was like multi-touchdown, 100 yards. But like we didn't have to do anything that game. We could just run the ball and, convert here and there and then win. So it's I don't even know what happens next year, because like I don't know if it's just good. I think some people are waiting for like a passing of the torch where, okay, Travion's going to be the guy eventually. But I think the Patriots would rather give the ball in short yardage situations, and then against teams where like we just want to pound the ball and like control time of clock. I think we might still be giving it to Ramondre. Right. So I don't think there's going to be that passing of the torch where it's like now you're the guy. It might just be
how they've been doing it.
Henderson. Yeah. Right.
Brandon, like how do you see this? This ground game against the Seahawks front seven, they don't have like a massive sack getter, but they just have multiple guys with over 5 sacks, and they get pressure from everywhere. I mean, do you think they could like have like a all-time performance or is it more just like they might get tested a little bit?
The Seahawks front seven, I think they present a lot of unique matchups for this Patriots offensive line, to be honest with you, Andrew, because what they can do in different packages like nickel and, their dime packages with like Emmanuel Warrior playing linebacker, at times, or playing in the box, go along with Ernest Jones. That's why they're so good, the run defense, because those guys fly to the ball, sideline to sideline, up and down, no matter what. So it will be tougher for New England to get push, I think, in this game. Just look at the game last week against Denver. They couldn't hardly get the run game going like they needed to, other than Drake May's scrambles and Drake May's bootleg that he called himself late, to seal it. So like the main running backs, they couldn't hardly get anything going with Stevenson and or Henderson. So I don't expect the run game to be that similar thing here. Like Shane was saying earlier, it's going to come down to which quarterback throws the ball better on third down in this one. And I think Seattle's defense will present different pictures that May hasn't seen all year. Darnold's probably seen everything in the league by this point. So I think advantage Darnold in that, and the way the Kubiak, as we talked about earlier, schemes guys like JSN and Shaheed open to, I think this game leans Seattle. Patriots can keep it close, I think, but it leans Seattle for me right now, or before Super Bowl week.
Right. Yeah, this could be a fun matchup. Just like we can talk about, New England's multiple pass catchers. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but like I don't think Diggs had like a big game last week or anything. But
no, it was
No,
it wasn't. He didn't have a game. It was, to be honest, it was Matt Collins last week for New England.
yeah, who would have thought? But yeah, Shane, going to like New England pass catchers and whatnot. They got like Hunter Henry and Booty and Kyle Williams. Like, do you see anyone like specific separating against Seattle, or is it just going to be like kind of how it is all year? If they find a mismatch, like they're gonna go to it.
Yeah, the problem is I don't think there's a mismatch against the Seattle secondary.
No,
all those guys, I don't think that there's a weakling that you can pick out. So it comes down to, I think it's going to be a lot of Josh McDaniels thinking of like some magician plays. Because like Jordan's right, like Matt Collins was like the guy against the Broncos. But if you remember early in that game, we tried like a couple weird screens and stuff to get Diggs the ball, and they went nowhere. So like,
yeah,
even Diggs you can't count on. I'm sure we're going to try to get the ball to him, but it's been difficult, I think, all season trying to predict who's going to get the big game between Diggs or Booty.
like
Throwing Pop Douglas in there.
Yeah.
Throwing Matt Collins, throwing Hunter Henry. Yeah, there's no matchup that you can pick. Honestly, it might be a lot of Travion Henderson in the past game, because I know that Seattle likes to take the deep play away. So May might be doing a lot of checkdowns. Yeah, but other than that, like it could really be the one thing I don't see happening though is like we really like to call a lot of Kayshon Booty go routes. Or just like plays where we get him down the field, and like if May sees one-on-one, he'll take the shot. I don't see that being a success, just because Seattle's defense is so disciplined. And even if we get these 20, 15 yarders down the field, we're not going to get a lot of yards after the catch, because also Seattle, they're really good tacklers in the open field.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you do not let people get past them, so yeah.
Yeah. Jordan, with Seattle secondary, like they've been relatively good all year. I would say besides when they have to go against, Puka Nacua, was it they've faced him 3 times, and he's kind of had like career high games. I mean, this week they don't obviously have to go against Puka or someone in that caliber, but do you see like a way that Seattle secondary gets tested, or is it more of just like, like
Anyone
Tariq
facing
Woolen?
week Woolen.
Yeah, so he was like a guy that has improved, but like he struggled
God.
with like.
Oh yeah, like a Demiro Douglas or a Keisha Mute, like for a deep shot, like Beak's probably gonna get burned on some of those routes. Like you're just hoping like he proves his discipline and stuff. But like other than that, like that strong saving Julian Love is gonna be a good backup for Witherspoon. The linebacker core, like hopefully they do well in those middle of the routes against his offense. Like and you're hoping that like Amaral and like are gonna have some good coverage against Diggs, because even though Diggs didn't have a great season, I personally think he had a fine season, and other than some kitchen drama off the field, like he's still a solid receiver. So like you're just hoping that secondary is gonna play well against those veterans.
Right. Like I don't know if you like in that Rams game where I think it was before half in the third quarter, like the safety kind of went after Woolen, and I don't know.
Amaral, the nickel back, they were testing each other.
Right, with by him and Witherspoon.
But they got through because Rams got green on a couple plays, and their offense was just bled. And also hoping that's slide special team, because that's going to be important. Rashid Shaheed, home run threat.
Right. Yeah. I think Seattle secondary is definitely good. I think there could be like we were saying with the Patriots, like multiple receivers and stuff. Like you have to cover the whole field on top of containing Drake May. So there could be a chance of openings here and there. But yeah, Shane, in terms of Christian Gonzalez versus JSN, how do you see that matchup faring?
I mean, matchup wise, I think Gonzalez will have a good game against JSN, but I think a good game against JSN is you held him to 80 yards and maybe he didn't get 5 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
He's had that kind of production throughout the game. And also I wouldn't be able to say this accurately unless I just rewatch the full game, but I'm pretty sure that the Seahawks had JSN lining up on slot a couple times. They move him around a lot. So I actually really doubt that Seagon is going to be covering JSN.
I can tell you right now, they're going to move. They're going to have JSN in the backfield. They're going to have JSN in the slot, like you said, Shane. They're going to have him at Y. No matter what, they're going to have that man in every situation as he just catches a quick screen. That's the thing too. Seagon, if he is outside, you got to watch out for the screens if you have off coverage, because they'll just pitch it out quick. So they'll get the ball to that man any way possible. I think that's the thing too. I trust Seagon's game here. I do. That men's ball, that was just one blown coverage. Safety probably could have done a little bit better on that too if they were rolling, over to that side on that one. But at the same time, you got I think, Vrabel and the interim DC will try their best to game plan for JSN, because I think JSN is going to be the guy that is going to unlock the Seattle offense in this game. If New England can't contain him. I don't think it's going to be the run game. I don't think it's going to be. I mean, maybe one Shaheed deep ball or Shaheed screen can go the distance. As well. There's other options, obviously. But JSN is probably going to be the main, and I think he could win Super Bowl MVP like Cooper Kupp did for the Rams. I really do think JSN is on Super Bowl MVP watch in this game.
Yeah, I mean, while we're on the topic, I guess we've had very Super Bowl MVP is so hard to predict because I remember the previous Seahawks Super Bowl. I think the MVP of that game was Jermaine Kearse, the receiver. I'm for sure maybe someone not on the radar like a AJ Barner.
The Super Bowl MVP for that game, Andrew, is Malcolm Butler.
Uh-huh.
Oh yeah, the Patriots. Yeah, I meant for that Denver game. That's the one I remember because I'm pretty sure the Denver blowout was just.
That one was Malcolm Smith. That was the.
Oh, okay.
No, so yeah. But I don't blame you about forgetting the Patriots Seattle former Super Bowl. Apparently, the Hall of Fame also forgot about it.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, but with Kenneth Walker, Shane, how do you think they're gonna contain him? With the pass run defense that's been good all year, but Kenneth Walker, he's fresh. He's coming off of two great games. How do you see that matchup?
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing about him getting the good games, it's not like he's not a bad player because he clearly isn't. But also, with Zach Charbonnet being out, he got a lot more work. And so, while it's a better opportunity for Walker, if you're New England preparing, you're also pretty much preparing for just Walker. I forget the name of the other guy, the third string that they had.
George Helwani.
Yeah, that guy didn't do much against the Rams.
No.
So they might just game plan for Kenneth Walker.
God, he makes noise in that Super Bowl. My God.
Yeah. I'm also reading now. So Robert Spillane, who's probably one of our best linebackers, he's questionable, and he didn't practice today. I think if you're Mike Vrabel, that's a guy that you hope is in there just for being able to make tackles on a guy like Walker.
Right.
But I also wouldn't be surprised if it's baked into the game plan that I think Seattle knows they need to throw to win. So it might be he'll get a couple looks in the first quarter. They'll go to the passing game, and then maybe throughout they'll sprinkle Walker in to keep the defense honest or to try to.
Yeah. Jordan, in terms of the a potential we'll get to Super Bowl picks in a second, but I just want to hear, because we were just on the topic of a potential MVP candidate of this game, of the winner of the team you think that's gonna be on top.
It has to go at least to JSN. Christian Gonzalez. Gonzalez is probably gonna have a great game. If Patriots win, they'll probably give it to Gonzalez or Milton, because Seattle's defense is gonna destroy Drake May. It's not gonna be fun. It's not gonna be fun. But it was a sloppy, close game. New England barely will scrape by because their defense could hold out in these close games. If not Seattle, it's your JSN or Donald's gonna win that.
Yeah.
MVP, because Seattle, if they smell blood in the water, it's gonna be over. It's gonna be Seattle. It's gonna be what they did to the Niners.
So, do you have Seattle winning then? And I guess give me a score prediction.
Oh yeah. 48-8.
Well, I don't know if I
That
want
will
that.
48-8 payback for the 1 goal line. It's going to be a bloodbath. It will be fun. The dark side of Seattle. They will defeat the evil empire. You're here for folks. Let's go.
Yeah. So Shane, that same question to you. Super Bowl prediction. Yeah.
Yeah, if it's 48-8, I don't think I'll be watching.
Yeah.
I'll find something else to do that night. But honestly, as I hate to do this, I think Seattle's winning this game. I think it's going to be 24-20, something like that. I could see the Seahawks just getting into the end zone more. We'll probably be kicking field goals because we can drive the field. But yeah, I think it's going to be like one of those games, and I see JSN being the MVP unless something crazy happens, which is on the table. But
Okay. Brandon.
I'm saving my pick for next week.
Oh,
week's
okay.
show.
Okay.
I'm saving my pick for next week. But I will. Yeah, Chris is probably going to go after Jordan. After that, I will.
Blasphemy!
I'm going to go into a couple other sports topics real quick while I have this time.
For sure.
Last night we had Cooper Flag versus Con Kneppel as the Hornets outlast Dallas late. Ironically, it was a Cooper Flag foul that gave Kneppel free throws to go ahead at the end there. Flag had 49 last night for Dallas. And Kneppel had like 7 threes. I think he also had a career high last night too. That game was a fun league pass game. And like I said on Tuesday's show about surprise playoff teams, them Hornets are for real. You gotta keep an eye on
you
them.
said that. Nope.
Keep an eye on them. Also, Nikola Jokic is back tonight versus the Clippers. He's returning from his knee injury. It'll be interesting to see if he's on a minutes restriction. He probably will be, but it'll be interesting to see how he plays. Lindsey Vonn, moving on to Olympics. Lindsey Vonn fell on the downhill in Switzerland this morning. Hurt her left knee. She did say her Olympic dream is not over. It's not over till it's over. It'd be interesting to see a week out from the start of the games how that knee holds up. Of course, obviously trade deadlines next week. NBA trade deadlines next week. I will get back into the more preview of that next week on the Total Apex Media podcast, like the main podcast as well. And the final thing I want to shout out is the Royal Rumbles tomorrow. We have good writers on Total Apex Sports covering that. Probably Nicholas Molick, who is the content manager over at Fighting in College Sports over there, as well as Ben Penabase as well, and a couple others maybe chipping in there. 2:00 start for that. I'm just trying to think if I didn't miss anything else that we didn't cover here. I don't think I did. So I think those are the things I wanted to touch on in my final thoughts for this show for this week, since I didn't give my pick, but my pick will be on next week's show.
Okay. I'm going to make a vibe-based pick. I mean, I kind of have to go Seattle, but I'm going to say it's a lower scoring game. I'm going to say, I think, like 19-17. Like, it's going to come down to, like, very few plays. Like, both teams are, like, they haven't – well, the Seahawks have been pretty clean, but, you know, Patriots offensively, it's kind of been a mess. But their defense has been, you know, like, getting them wins and, you know, taking them over the top and everything. So I think it will be a close game just because, you know, they're going to have to, like, somehow double JSN and bring more attention on him. And then that's going to make Shaheed, you know, Cooper Kupp, like, they, like, not to say Kupp, like, is washed or anything. Like, he has a lot of good moments. But, yeah, that final conversion that he had, like, he was barely beating man coverage. Like he's definitely not like, the vintage Cooper Kupp or anything like that. But he's still a good player. So I wouldn't be surprised if he makes like a play here or there. But yeah, I think Seattle's gonna win a close one, but it's definitely gonna be more fun than the last Super Bowl that they played.
I thought you were going to say this one.
Oh no, not that one. Not the Eagles.
I thought you were going to say that one.
Yeah, but real quick, the last news item was there was a news report that the Seahawks were going up for sale after the Super Bowl, with the 2018 death of the former owner Paul G. Allen. But that was kind of there was some pushback on that, and it wasn't officially confirmed. So we might have to wait a week on that to see if that comes through fruition and everything. But yeah, we got NBA games tomorrow. Plenty of coverage on Best in Fantasy, and even though the NFL season might be close to over, there's plenty of other sports and the all season to touch on. So yeah, Brandon, where can we find your work before we sign off?
Total Apex Sports. We'll be having a lot of good coverage of the Olympics starting next week. The NBA trade deadline, we're gonna do heavy trade stuff on there. We're gonna do like I said, Royal Rumble coverage. We obviously got Super Bowl coverage for next Sunday as well to wrap up the NFL season. Obviously, when the fantasy aspect gets merged over, I'll be back with my NBA DFSs and MLB redrafts and stuff like that as well to help out with that. And then and there's my handle over there, 30B Ellis. I will post my articles there as well as where the company automatically shares the stuff too. Well, I'll post my articles there and my Facebook. So,
right, Shane.
You can find me at Two Shanes. I'm trying to post more on Instagram, and sad that the NFL season is winding down, but I'm definitely looking forward to switching gears a bit into the NBA and doing some starts and sits for that. So, that's pretty much what I'm going to be trying to focus on for the short-term future.
Nice. Jordan?
You can find my rank Total Apex for Total Apex Fantasy, all that good stuff. You'll also find me on this football podcast with Sir Andrew. You'll also find me on my very own podcast, which is my own streaming, which is going to be on around like 9:30 tonight on our sports brand with Jordan Reynolds. I'll be talking about some of the stuff that we talked about today, and also other top bits ahead. You also find my social media, Jason on Sydney, at Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky. You'll find me at Take That Jason on 79. And shout out to Green Day. They're going to do that pre-show, and if they are going to do what I think they're going to do, it's going to be fun.
Yeah, that's going to be respectable for sure. You can follow me at KugiKim1357, Twitter, Instagram, at Total Apex Best. I'm mostly doing Best in Fantasy. And stay tuned for next week. We're probably going to be, updating on any Super Bowl coverage and, all the sports stuff we got going on. So, that for sure is happening. But it's great to be back, and we'll see you guys next Friday.
Oh, yeah.